Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of May I Interrupt, a slightly irreverent yet very interesting broadcast/podcast sponsored by Oculus. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Jedlicka, who will supply some insight and have some questions for our esteemed guests that we have here with us today. Let me introduce Dr. Daddi Fadel. Daddi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks so much for spending time with us here today. Would you mind, for our viewers, telling us a little bit about your journey on how you became involved in specialty contact lenses?
So, I had my studies of optics and optometry in Italy, and in Italy in schools you don't have a lot of specialty contact lens education. So we started just a little bit about square lenses and ortho-K. And after my school, I was so curious about these lenses, for which we had little of studies. So I started to study myself and do research in literature, and the best way that I learned about specialty just by applying. So I was risking applying lenses, knowing very little about them, and then the complications of ortho-K corneal lenses at the time, because when I started, square lenses did not even exist. So yeah, complications taught me about these lenses. And when I came to GSLS the first time in 2016, I think, I learned about scleral lenses, where in Europe we were very intimidated by these lenses, and very few people were fitting scleral lenses, maybe 2 or 3. And I understood that you are more prone, you are more confident in fitting scleral lenses just because you had more education, and we didn't have education in Europe. So that's why I started to have more education. So I studied scleral lenses, and again, I started fitting scleral lenses without knowing anything, very little about them. And then complications taught me, and I wanted to expand the knowledge about that and education. I'm involved in specialty contact lenses, not as fitter, but also in education.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've become really one of the premier recognized educators on specialty lenses in the world. Between your textbooks, between the summit in Italy, between your scleral European workshops you do. I mean, it's pretty amazing how you've really decided, I'm going to help everybody else become good at this too, and that's impressive.
And you know, Jason, to build on that, I still remember when Daddi came to GSLS the first time. You know, I had to interact with her because of posters and that kind of stuff.
You had to.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah. and I wanted to interact with her because of posters.
Correct.
Anyways, but I remember how curious you were, right?
Yes.
On how this all worked and who worked, and said, Craig, who are these people, and so on. And so it's really wonderful, to Jason's point, to see in a relatively short period of time, 7 or 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, totally crazy. Yeah, and you know, my understanding is now you are embarking on a new journey as well.
Yes.
And tell us about that with your move into Canada.
So yeah, 4 months ago, I moved to Canada, and I wanted to do some research. So yes, I'm involved in education and in clinical practice, but I'm very curious in trying so many things. I wanted to understand different perspectives of what we are doing, and I knew that they were searching for a clinical scientist, so I applied, and I had this meeting with Lyndon, and we started now 4 months ago. I started in Core. Very exciting, totally different than clinical practice. So I'm adapting to the research perspective, and it's very exciting. Yes, so everything is difficult. In clinical practice, you have to think outside the box just to find a solution, even if it's not approved a solution, but you have to find a solution for that patient because of his desperation or anything. Well, in research, you have to stick to the protocol. You have to follow the protocol 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, it's very exciting. It's very new work.
So, if I could ask, so are you part of CORE,
Yes.
or are you part of the optometry school, or are you part of both?
No, I'm part of CORE.
Okay.
Yes, as a researcher.
Okay. And does it involve than any teaching of students, or
No, we are now building some education programs. So we will start in educating educators and
Yeah.
also students. So yeah, we are building all these things on specialty contact lenses. So yeah, in core, my role is to bring specialty and to develop specialty contact lenses
Yeah.
in core
yeah?
as a research.
Okay, that's terrific. That Core again, a wonderful group.
It is.
Done a lot.
It is a family. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was trying to decide who is the luckier party here.
Yeah.
Is it Core to have you, or you to be able to be at Core? You know?
Yeah,
So
they're
It's
amazing.
really
I
a great,
would agree
yeah.
that and because the opportunities are so great, and I know, I mean, Jason, you are closer to this kind of thing than most anybody. You can imagine, trying to build Core at IU.
Yeah. Mhm.
Be very cool.
It would be very
take
cool.
a long time.
Yes. How are you adapting to your first winter in Canada?
I'm adapting, and we are so lucky because winter is still mild.
Ah,
Yeah, so minus
okay.
10 degrees. But they are telling me it's nice. So it's not mine for me. It's very cold. But yeah, I'm
So-
adapting.
So I'm curious to know how many winter coats you have. Sorry, I'm teasing.
Yeah, I have enough.
I'm just thinking of all the cool colored winter coats.
Yeah,
that I have.
exactly. That's a
Yeah.
great question. Well, I will say this. So typically, I go up to Waterloo every January with Ursula.
Oh.
I drive her when she does the school thing. And the one thing we do is we guarantee to bring snowstorms with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before the end of the month, there'll be another major snowstorm, I'm sure.
Yeah, they told me that. So we are preparing. Psychologically, we are preparing for that.
Last year, I think it was last year we were there, and we called them before we left to drive up, and they said, well, come on up. We've never shut the school down, ever, until that day.
That was a challenge
That
to
day
you,
when
right?
we got up there. Yeah, they shut the
Yeah.
school down. Terrific. Okay, so Jason did mention the publication stuff, and it's really wonderful, the Sclerum book that you put out, the text. Do you have any plans to continue to expand that?
Yeah, I'm editing actually a book with Melissa Barnett on specialty contact lenses. So it's including scleral lenses, but also myopia control, ortho-K, corneal lenses, and customized soft contact lenses.
Yeah.
And also the correction of presbyopia, because the correction of presbyopia is not really a customized, but again, it is a customized contact lens fitting in some cases. So we are editing this book, and with Elsevier editor, and hopefully in 2023 or 2024 it will be published.
Okay. So will it be a similar kind of text like you did before?
Yes,
So,
it will be a book. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, which makes it more readily available. And you have it online. And
Yes.
that's the plan.
Yes.
Okay, that's great as well. That overall view, I think, is very important rather than just square lenses.
Yes, we still don't
Alone.
have a manuscript only on specialty contact lenses.
Yeah.
And specialty contact lenses now they are growing, and there is a rule to their development. So many practitioners need some reference for specialty contact lenses. And again, education is the main way to get them to start these specialties and start helping people, helping patients, and changing their lives. And sometimes not only changing their lives, saving
Yeah.
some lives.
So, switching gears to a more personal note. So, you have a couple of boys, is that right?
Couple
Your
of
children,
Yes.
two boys?
two boys, yes,
And so, how old are they?
17 and 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
The wonderful years.
Oh, amazing. Especially when you move from a country to another.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
are they fluent in English as well?
They are not fluent in English. So they learned English at school in Italy, but it was very basic.
Sure.
They could understand something, and now they are doing the school in English in Canada. And few days ago, they did a presentation in English.
Oh, wow.
So they are learning. I don't know how perfect was their English, but yeah, in 4 months, it's amazing
Yeah.
result. And kids they get
Well, they're
very fast.
especially then when you get into immersion, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
When you don't have any choice but to pick up
Exactly.
some terms to be able to communicate.
Yeah. And Waterloo, amazing that you cannot find Italian.
Yeah.
There's no Italian people. All Italian people are in Toronto.
Oh, sure.
So it's sad for them because they cannot connect with Italian friends, but it's good because they are obliged, they are constricted to speak in English to communicate with someone else. So this is important for
Right.
them to learn the language.
So your 17-year-old, is he in grade 11?
Yes, he still have 1 year to finish, yes.
See, of course, with Ursula being Canadian, I know to say grade 11 rather than 11th grade,
Right.
which is what we say in the U.S.
Exactly,
Right?
yes, yeah, grade 11.
And so, okay, so he'll get a year under his belt and then graduate
Yes,
next year.
yes,
So,
he will.
wow. Again, very, very, very cool.
Can you talk a little bit about what are you charged with doing now at CORE? What is the purpose? Is this mainly a research to uncover things for the rest of the world as it pertains to specialty lenses? Is it more to develop educational materials? What kind of things are you going to be doing at Waterloo now in the near future?
So actually we started a study on scleral lenses, the first study on scleral lenses in CORE, investigating different coating of the scleral lens in dry eye symptoms, and we have future studies on the calendar to start with, and of course ortho K lenses as well. So yes, research, but also I will be involved in education as well.
That's
in
nice. You get
and yes.
a mixture of both.
Exactly.
Yeah. What, if you can share, if you have thoughts, what areas in specialty lenses are on your mind that you'd like to investigate more?
What research topics?
Yeah, what things have been burning in your mind that you said, really love to study this or that or the other? Are there things that you've wanted to do that now you'll have the opportunity to do that you're there?
So there are so many ideas like high order aberrations and decentering the optics. If by decentering, because keratoconic patients have problems with correcting with having corrected the high order aberrations. Of course, the scleral lens will correct some, but not totally. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not the high order aberration of the eye, but the lens decentration and the optics of the lens decentration will induce or will not correct enough aberrations. So I would be very interested in understanding only by decentering the optics of the lens in keratoconic patients if this will improve without adding any technology in the anterior surface, just by decentering the optics if this will improve the high order aberrations. Also, I'm very interested in investigating the diameter selection in dry eye patients or also for comfort, just by increasing or decreasing the diameter. I found that clinically that in ocular surface disease and dry eyes, larger diameter are more indicated and will provide more comfort just because they are covering more area. Mm-hmm. But it's only clinical findings, and we will be investigating this, but just by changing the diameter of the lens in dry eyes, if comfort will be improved as well. In other studies I would love to have in empirical fitting, the difference in empirical fitting and diagnostic set, which one would be more would be more appropriate for some patients, and also to get to the final lens by diagnostic set fitting or by the empirical fitting. So we say, just clinically, we found that empirical fitting, you get to the final lens easy, and you will save time chair and reorders. But this is not proved. We don't have evidence on that, and that would be a good topic to investigate on.
So it sounds like a lot of the things that are on your mind are very close to the clinical practitioner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Things that the clinician who fits specialty lenses deals with and contemplates daily, and with answers to that could quickly be brought into practical
Exactly.
application.
So yeah, we do a lot of research, but clinically they don't have relevance.
Correct.
I want something to give to practitioners because I am clinician. I've been in clinic private practice for about 27 years, so I have that perspective. And when I read research and I don't find any importance for my clinical, I don't think that research has importance for me. So exactly what I would suggest for just to get closer to the clinicians and give them information and instruments to start with and to be functional for their clinical and to get to increase their knowledge and also their practice.
Yeah, and I think, fair or not, to most people, when they see a publication like that coming from someone that they know has the clinical know-how already, it means more.
Yeah.
This person understands what I deal with, and this is what they found, than somebody who's just a pure researcher who doesn't do this clinically. I think it makes a difference having someone like yourself
I think it's one of
bringing
the
this.
things that gets involved when you have researchers in the big companies.
Yeah.
And because the research work that they're doing, they can't relate it really to clinically because many of them have not been involved in clinical care or haven't been involved in clinical care for a long time. Right?
And clinicians know what patients are struggling from, and you need to find solution for those struggling. And I've been told in these workshops that I'm doing in Europe and the Middle East and also in Africa that they appreciate these workshops because I have dirty hands, you know.
Yeah.
I have my hands on.
You've been in the trenches.
We can understand each other. And my workshops are very clinical, so they are very practical. All these workshops are evidence-based, of course, but they are very easy.
Yeah.
It's
And
an
it's so
easy
powerful.
language.
And I'll just relate to something Jason said yesterday in the program that we were on. Jason, when you described it, you started it off by saying, let me talk to you about this patient, which was the last patient I saw before I came. Right?
Yeah.
And it immediately relates to clinic, right? It's the clinical care, not some theoretical care. Exactly. And I think that it's so powerful. So why don't you just fix presbyopia for us? How about that?
Again with presbyopia.
Yeah. So this is a huge topic to investigate on. Also in ortho-K, with ortho-K or scleral lenses, not only soft-contact lenses. So there is a huge.
So we don't care how you fix it.
We need
Let's
to fix
just
it.
fix it, right?
Right.
So I'm wearing eyeglasses because I don't have anyone designing for me scleral lenses, so I have to find someone. But we need a lot of research on presbyopia. How? So I'm wearing a multifocal lens because of my age. So I definitely understand better presbyopic patients, and I think we need some more research on that. Yeah.
So Daddi, 8 years ago when you came here to GSLS, would you ever have pictured you'd be back here now, sitting here with such an esteemed guy like Jason?
Oh,
No,
brother.
No.
I was going to say, would you ever picture yourself being on so many speaker panels talking about scleral lenses as one of the experts?
Yeah.
Oh my
same
God.
thing.
Yeah.
Because you are.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, no, at all. I didn't imagine that. And it wasn't in my goals. I just wanted to be involved and to help also. So by educating, I just wanted to share knowledge.
So you were sitting in the audience saying, I want to be Jason Jedlicka?
No.
Oh, boy.
No,
Here we
at
go.
all.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was
Only
so
because I have more
fun.
hair, that's
Yeah,
all. It has
no,
nothing to
because-
do with contact lenses at all.
Yeah, no, it was so far. So it was amazing. So you were so mentoring for me, and I read your articles and everything, but I could never imagine to become an expert. And I don't think I'm an expert as you, so I'm still learning a lot.
I disagree, but that's okay.
Here's the thing, you are a role model for a lot of young people now that comes with the territory. I guarantee there were people in our audience yesterday that were sitting there specifically some young women who say, I want to be that.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
yeah, thank you. That's very nice to hear.
You know, of course, it goes with a certain bit of responsibility as well, right? But I think
she's up for it.
You're just definitely. You're a terrific role model to what you've been able to accomplish, especially combined with running a family along with everything else. I mean, it's not no small chore, and you should definitely be highly complimented for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, Jason, we're going to wrap up. Do you have one last question?
Well, I was just going to ask you if you're going to do your European tour of workshops again this year, or what's the plan for continuing that program?
There is a plan to continue because we saw that at the workshop, so many practitioners came to the workshop, they never touched it. As clear lens, now they are fitting clear lenses.
Definitely.
So it helped a lot. It helped a lot, and they are helping patients. So there is a program to continue. Of course, I will not be able to do 17 workshops as I did in 2022 because I have to do my research in core.
Well, if you need some help.
Amazing. Yeah, for that one, I need help. So the program is continue, but with less number of workshops around the world.
I think the first year you were ambitious, but you made the inroads, and now you probably can get by with some less.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
That's very, very cool. Daddi, do you have any last minute things you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I am very grateful for you to having me. It's such an honor for me to be here interviewed, and I would like to be acknowledged to GSLS. GSLS taught me a lot. It was a great opportunity for me to be exposed to the international audience, and you trusted me, and I am so grateful for that. So yeah, I started there because you trusted. I'm incredibly grateful.
Yeah, Daddi,
thank you.
Keep up the great work is all that we can say. And it is just a pleasure to have you here at May I Interrupt.
Thank you. Thank you so
really
much.
Phenomenal. To our audience, I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as Jason and I did. This was terrific. And please stay tuned for other future episodes of May I Interrupt. Thank you, everybody.